God, this isn't exactly how I think a dev should handle their own game.
Oh, it's one way to handle it.
This is a weird one. Ubisoft, ready? That's okay. You can move on if you can't take XDefiant bugs.
I feel like the PR department probably wants to speak with this guy.
Who says that? Just move on. Don't play our game. It's okay. Don't really care. It's basically the premise there, right? Unbelievable. Grant Hill over Insider Gaming.
I think the last time I heard something about this, or similar to this, would have been Battlefield, saying, well, if it's not ready for you, you can just move on. And it was incredibly broken at the time. This is not quite the same, but...
Yeah. XDefiant Season 1 update arrived, bringing about new maps, weapons, and mechanics, along with a series of tweaks, quality of life improvements, and of course, new issues. It also introduced Ranked. God, have you checked out Ranked yet?
No, I haven't. I've actually been out of this game for probably about a week right now, but I am looking to get back into it.
Fair enough. Which has landed well with the majority of the player base on account of if not feeling like a ranked mode. Shortly after the new update dropped, Ubisoft's Mark Rubin took to social media to explain why XDefiant is experiencing so many issues, defending the game against those claiming it was released too early and rushed out. XDefiant was released on May 21st to a relatively positive reception. You can check out our full review over on ITGTV.com, where Scott and Corey covered that one. So that was a good video, guys. The hundreds of thousands of players pouring onto the platform in the first hours of the game going online, it was a long-awaited arrival that came following months of delays and postponements. So eager players were just happy to finally receive it, and then the teeth-tempting issues surfaced. Dude, there's a couple of bugs, weren't there? Speaking candidly on social media, executive producer Mark Rubin explained why XDefiant's launch hasn't been smooth sailing. Quote, "What we have is an engine that has only ever been an MMO." And really, that's okay. And so all of the infrastructure of an FPS has had to be built up from the ground floor. We are working on developing all new tech in an engine that was designed for something else. That being said, that the engine is really great, but it does require a lot of work, and with that comes a lot of bugs that other engines have already worked out. We're not a shooter that's been out for 20 years. If you like what we are trying to do, stick around and you'll see things improve and new features get added. But if the game isn't for you, that's okay, you can move on. End quote. From the horse's mouth, if you can't stomach XDefiant's core issues, then feel free to go away. Plenty of problems have surfaced in the last month and a half, ranging from hit detection to netcode, and from menu bugs to animation-based issues. And while Ubisoft is working on them, it seems that each major patch just brings more problems to the table. Ouch, Scott.
There is a certain dose of reality that we do have to accept, which is there is going to be bugs with every update. There's going to be balancing issues with every single tweak they do to this game. That is the constant, the difficulty that you face with constant development and ongoing live service. But Mark Rubin here did not put it exactly in the best of PR terms to say that, well, we are working with something new, a new engine, and generally with these kind of things, you'd want to say, hey, look, we're capable of this much with this great engine. But we're making it work, and we're not quite there yet. This isn't exactly the message that I get from Mark Rubin's statement.
No, instead it's hey, we're using an old engine that really wasn't meant for our game.
Yeah, it kind of seems like a misdirection at the top.
Right? Like, why would you even use that engine then? If it doesn't work, if it's not meant for what you're trying to create, then obviously you're causing more issues than what they're worth. Why not just move to Unreal Engine 5? Right? Ubisoft not known to do that. They always use the Anvil engine, right? It's their own engine, it's their own tech, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And then this is what they get into though, right? So why wouldn't you just go, you know what, forget it. Why don't we use an engine that can handle where we're trying to take our game in the first place? I don't know. They could be definitely the higher ups. It's probably not even Mark's decision. In this case, it's just, hey, here's our engine. This is what you need to use. Now go make your game. And then they've had one problem after another, right? To the point where when they did come out for certification, PlayStation turned them down to say, hey, no, like you're not hitting all the check boxes. So one delay after another delay after another delay, we finally get the game. Is it working? Scott, high level thoughts on XDefiant, even though you've been out for a week, but you played how many hours now?
Oh, at least a few dozen now. There has been a lot of XDefiant in my last few months here, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, it's certainly worth it from what I've seen, what I've played. It's certainly been worth the effort because I've enjoyed the game and it's been great. A
Right.
COD killer, it is not, but it does deserve a place etched out in the first-person shooter genre there. So I'm glad to see that it is experimenting with something new, using an old engine. I appreciate the the innovation that requires, but I would like to see it end up somewhere better, more deserving. Ubisoft deserves to have a better game out put forward than this. So hopefully the updates will kind of bring it to where it needs to be without so much of a fan backlash here.
Yeah, just don't tell your fans to go away. I think that's the biggest comment that comes out of all this, right? Is, hey, you know what? We get your problems. We understand your frustrations. We're frustrated too. We're working on fixing them. And then stop. Not just, well, if you don't like it, move on. That just doesn't cut it, man. Not in today's gaming space, because it's so hard to keep our time connected to one game as it is, because we can jump on a dime from 1 minute to the next and never touch your game again. So that's the last comment you want to come out of your executive producer on XDefiant. Seems like a mind-blowing move to me. But we want to know from you, ITGTV.com. Are you playing XDefiant? And how's your bugs doing?